I'm not gonna have a whole slide deck, only a few slides telling you a little bit about the AFIS, a little bit about the AVO, and one slide about the challenges and opportunities. So let's start maybe. I think we can say.
Good luck.
Good luck, exactly. Okay, guys, next slide. First of all, conflicts of interest. Many companies that they have founded or co-founded, 3 of them or financial leaders. What we have here, one is Rivals. It's an AI assisted snacking company that you may have heard. There are some products out there. Secondly, the Mars Group, that is an initiative. It's a VC group that Harold Smith is a general partner and I'm an investor. And the third one is Pipa. Pipa is a company that they created 10 years ago. It's about 80 employees, and it's AI in food nutrition and health. So it's, and I own the company, so it's, just to be clear, whenever I say things about that, with a grain of salt. This is a picture, just a copy paste for Pipa, so you see that there's no way that there's not a conflict here, because companies in general, they are trying to actually bring together product and consumer. So there is no way that this conference, because it's really, really relevant with products and consumer, are going to be relevant. So next slide. A little bit about the AFIS. So AFIS is in the cohort of the 7 first AI institutes. That's an initiative that was mandated by Congress. I started in 2019, 2020, because the first solicitation came from NSF USDA. It's one of the 5 USDA institutes. There are 29 currently. Steve, am I right? 29. And the only institute on the food system. AFIS is the AI Institute for Next Generation Food Systems. So we got 20 billion. We said, okay, organize and bring together AI and food. By disseminating knowledge, funding research, educating us, and us being the policymaker, the senators, the senior staffers, and also running training and outreach programs. The way that we position it was all about plants and looking at all those verticals, going from how to grow, so it is molecular breeding and agricultural production, how to harvest, how to process, so it's food processing, going to the consumer and nutrition. And we positioned that. We said, okay, great, we can have machine learning and AI being on those micro projects, right? As we all know, but what we need to do actually is having the glue, is having AI being the connective tissue that brings everything together, the data, the methods, the people. So that's about AFIS, with a clear vision about a healthier society and a more sustainable planet, so planetary health. And go next slide. As I said, we have 5 main clusters, which is, again, molecular breeding, agricultural production, food processing, nutrition. We have ethics, that in socioeconomics, that is an overarching theme, as well as AI. Next slide. Again, where we're focusing, it's outreach, education, research, and workforce development. Next. And you can go to our website and see what else we have done, as well as our projects. Next slide. Okay, next slide. Last slides about the institutes. So early on in AFIS, we said, okay, great, but we're talking about not having isolated projects, right? Why do the NSF institutes or the institutes there not actually collaborating? So early on, we started pestering NSF and USDA to how to bring that into a nexus. So we created the Directors Club, we created this network of institutes, and this came and became AVO, which is the virtual organization for all AI institutes, all 29 of them, and it was recently renewed for funding, and here we have also the PI, Steve Brown here is the PI, not the PI of the initial grant. So that's AVO, and the big conference is coming in on the 20?
Next week, the 21st.
The 21st, okay, great. And it is going to be in Washington.
In Washington.
Great. Okay, so this is where all the institutes come together and discuss about everything. And again, the institutes are from chemistry and physics and education to food and agriculture. Okay, next slide. Okay, what is the opportunity and why we're here? And I'm actually building upon what we have from King early on. So, healthier society and a healthier planet, a more sustainable planet. What does this mean? A lot of times we're waiting for us to become sick in order to get us right again with drugs or changing our lifestyle. Why can't we actually stay healthy and have better quality of life? That's basically it. And in order to do that, there is no way of not involving food. Same thing with our planet and other resources that we're actually spending. Well, what are those practices in agriculture, in molecular breeding, and everything that we discussed so far that will lead to a healthier society? Those practices, sometimes they're not very good for the planet, sometimes they are. So can we connect what's happening in the farm to what's happening in our bread basket or fruit basket? So can you tell me what's in a tomato, what's in an apple, what's in a banana, and what it does to our body and mind? And then go back to the agricultural practices, regenerative, traditional, whatever it is, and figure out where to get the best molecules possible. We had Justin talking about proteins, and it's much more than proteins. Proteins are great, and proteins like one of the key, but so many molecules that.
Blasphemy.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, it's a travesty, but yeah, you're far away, so I can say stuff. And your aim is not that good. So many other molecules that they are very important, right? From the flavonoids and the polyphenols to anything already know here. And how can we, in a very practical way, create better food for our people? So that's it. And there is another program that, again, American Heart Association, DFI, is running where they took out of 300 farms for three different commodities, almonds, wheat, and apples. They looked 100 farms each, and they saw for different practices in the field, what is the molecular composition of the final products. And then we connected the final products in this molecular composition to actually health effects and bioactivities. So you can, for the first time, you can actually say, what we can do in the field that's great, both for the product and our society, as well as for the planet. Okay? So these are the projects that we're talking about here. So the gaps. And I will be blunt here. A little bit about me, and I have 1 minute. So I've been an electrical engineer in training. Was field site design early on, mixed signals and all that. And I did a project that was all about biology and simulating regulatory networks, and I was sold. And I did my PhD in electrical engineering on biology, system biology, and then I went to, of course, where as electrical engineer goes to Credit Suisse and investment banking. After that, I came to UC Davis for 17 years, and I've been working on food for the last 5 to 6 years. So I'm not 6 to 7 years. So I'm not an expert at all when it comes to traditional food science and food processing. But I'm very excited, and it's really I can see where the synergies come. One of the things that now it will actually go to the gaps is because of the companies that have been involved, I see where projects fail. I see where impact is not realized. While the ideas are great, and while the proteins are there, and the molecules are here, and the very clear ROI and all that, it's not happening. So let's see why, and let's try to avoid that. So one is the data. We heard about the PTFI initiative, and there are other initiatives out there that we're now trying to create the right data in. We are not there yet. And if people think that we have AI, that's great, and we can throw all the data that we have right now and the AI will come with an answer, this is not working. Not for food. The reason is if food is multifaceted, multidimensional, and if you're taking also the host, humans for example, or pets, depends what kind of food it is, that it becomes a huge complexity. It's very, very, very difficult. So unless you have billions to trillions of data points that we don't have, or you have billions and billions of dollars, a very clear vision and perseverance, grit, to actually push that vision, this is not going to happen. AI by itself is not going to solve it for the time being. It's not about figuring out where is the cat in images and how to build images. What can we do though is create the right data sets and invest where we really have, again, what AI can do is you can train it in one set. We have a lot of data, for example, genomes, and you can transfer learn from a smaller data set, which can be, for example, the function of proteins. And what I just described is AlphaFold, that's all the protein function, folding, not function, prediction. Millions and millions of sequences, but only 100 to 150,000 time points of how proteins fold. And by doing that, by getting the right data for training, you can actually be able to create those algorithms that do that. That's one. The second you can do is, again, you actually mentioned it, you can have agents that they have the LLMs, right, the large language models, but they actually communicate together with all the other tools, may that be computational fluid dynamics, may that be computational chemistry tools, etc., thermal processes, that are very, very good at solving a particular problem. Getting all together, again, that's something you can do. Business push-pull, investment and talents, two things that I want to focus. One, we are going to talk a lot about talent, right? I was telling you guys yesterday in dinner, my students, when they leave, they go for salaries that are 300K plus, right, after PhD. Where in the food industry are they going to get the salaries? After 5-6 years, they're getting 700 to 1 million, right? If you go to Google, if you go to TikTok, etc. How are we going to pay those talent, right? So that's something we have to think of, very practical. And also coming to investment, very closely related to that, right? The best deal, and this is changing slowly, but still, the best deal that it was for the food industry, food tech, it was the worst deal for pharma, right? So these amounts are not coming together. Whether we want AI or not is not relevant. We have a common core of algorithms, a common core of talent. In one year, paid like 5x more than others after 10 years of experience. So how are we going to bridge that? And the answer is, again, looking for the ROI, making sure that you're in this $1 trillion industry, you're actually going for impact. So let's look at the removing obstacles. One is removing silos. This is why you're here. AI experts together with food scientists and food processing people. Amazing. And not only that, sensory and others, right? Food development in general. Very important. Second, I would say, whatever we do, we need to make it frictionless. We should not be asking for companies and people who have their everyday job to go out of their normal stuff and being like running data acquisition for us or learning a new tool. This will not happen. Unless there's a very, very clear push from the business, this is very, very difficult to ask. And I have seen that many times. Like, again, we're having a project, it's going well, and it stops. And the reason it stops is we're asking too much from our partners. So we have to figure out how to make this frictionless. Third is integrate. Again, a lot of micro projects here and there. How do you connect the dots to go from start, from an ideation, to the final product that is successful to the consumer? So that input-output in a modular design is important. Sell the dream, of course, to vision, to either that be policymakers awarding billions of dollars for the NAIR projects, which is the US Congress funding AI initiatives, to the CEOs and the boards and the investors of the world. Train our people. This is a new piece. We don't know how to work with AI yet. Remember 2 years ago, I remember Justin sending me an email 2 years ago, saying, hey, this is solved, look at all these references, and it was generated by ChatGPT. And the team said, okay, that's amazing. I was following the references and the hallucinations. Now we all know about hallucinations. 2 years ago, we didn't. Okay? There are many other things that now we don't know, and we will know in 2 years. So how do we train our people to be able to co-create, and that's the last one, collaborate, co-create, work together with agents, with tools, with the AI of tomorrow? Okay, let me stop here. Thank you very much.